All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March 2022 meeting of the West Virginia Entrepreneurship Ecosystem. And we are super excited today to have someone who I just met about a month ago, but have followed up with a couple of times and very excited to introduce her to you all. So our spotlight program this month will be Awesta Sarkash. And Awesta is the Government Affairs Director for the Small Business Majority, which we'll learn a little bit more about. And she's going to give us some information on the organization and their work. The overview is Small Business Majority is a national organization that empowers America's diverse entrepreneurs to build a thriving and equitable economy. They have a large network and are working with entrepreneurs in many states. So I was very excited to be able to connect with Awesta during National Entrepreneurship Week. And then when we followed back up after that, we're able to get her scheduled for today. So with no further ado, Awesta, we'll let you take over.
Thanks, Bill. And thanks to Bill and Tara for coordinating this. Bill, can I share my screen for the PowerPoint? Is that okay?
Yes, you've got your co-host, so you should be able to share.
Okay, let me make sure that this is working. All right, do you all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again, Bill and Tara, for having me here. I'm really excited to talk to folks about Small Business Majority and the work that we do. I also just have to say, for what it's worth, I love West Virginia. I'm based in Northern Virginia, but my fiance and I go to West Virginia all the time. I think we've been to a few places, but mostly Berkeley Springs and Great Capon. And Bill and I had this conversation about a month ago about how to say Capon properly. So I hope I do not offend anyone with the way that I said it. I'm hoping I said it properly. So sort of diving into a little bit more about Small Business Majority. Again, my name is Awesta Sarkash. I'm the Government Affairs Director here at Small Business Majority. A little bit about the organization as a whole. We're a national small business nonprofit. So we're not a membership organization. We just happen to have 85,000 small businesses who choose to be part of our network. And we also represent 1,500 business and other partner organizations. And we have offices across the country. So we have offices, we obviously work nationally, but we have offices in California, Colorado, the Midwest. I also oversee our work in Virginia in addition to our federal work. And then we have an office in Georgia as well. So much of our work, and I'll get into this in the next slide, is sort of framed around policy and advancing policy that supports entrepreneurs, because for us and small business owners, there's such a huge definition when it comes to small business and like how that's defined. We're talking about really, really small businesses, like, certainly 20 employees or less, and most of our network, about a third of them are 10 employees or less, and a big portion of them are sole proprietors as well. So we're really talking about the Main Street small businesses. And so much of our focus when we talk about policy work is access to capital. We have a huge focus on underserved businesses, rural businesses, and how to make sure products are more accessible for them in securing lines of credit. Healthcare is a big issue for us. We celebrated our 15-year anniversary last year. We were actually created because of the sort of political movement associated with the Affordable Care Act back in 2006, closer to 2008. And our founder and CEO, John Arnsmeyer, who was a small business owner, felt like, the voice of the small businesses and small business owners, the real small businesses, just weren't at the table. And so, he connected with members of Congress and wanted to sort of convey that small businesses want access to affordable care as well. And that this is something that entrepreneurs and everyone wants to be able to provide to their employees. And so that's kind of how we got started. And then we have a whole host of other policies as part of our agenda, other types of benefits like paid family leave, which we're very supportive of. We have worked pretty strongly to advance retirement programs, state-run retirement programs, so long as the burden isn't on small business owners. There's no cost to the small business owner, that type of stuff. And then other stuff like taxes, and making sure that small business owners aren't paying more than their fair share when particularly as corporations and large businesses pay much, much less. And so we're always trying to fight against that. And then, we're also focused on education and resources. Even before the pandemic, we were doing educational events across the country, virtual or not. And then the pandemic obviously hit, and we pivoted and have done, I think, upwards of 700 webinars now, reaching, nearly 60,000 unique small businesses. And it was everything from, how as a small business owner do I apply for PPP, EIDL, how do I navigate the restaurant revitalization fund, all those sorts of things. And then state specific stuff too. So like in Virginia, we had the executive director of one of the top 8 small business agencies come on and literally go through the application process to apply for the Rebuild Virginia grant. So it really varies. And we continue to do those types of events now, but, tend to couple it with other things like, why is paid leave important for Virginia small businesses? Why does responsible lending matter to Maryland small businesses? Those types of things. Again, a little bit more about our model here. I didn't mention this before, but we do a ton of research, and you'll see our website later on in the slide deck. But if you go to our research tab on the website, we have a ton of data. Much of it is used to dictate our policies. It's very bottom-up approach, and how small businesses feel about any set of issues, everything from access to capital, to healthcare benefits, to how are they feeling about the supply chain issues and how are they impacted by it. And that's all the kind of stuff that we use both to share with state folks, state legislatures, and then federally as well. And then the other sort of big component is our network, and making sure small businesses have the opportunity to network with each other. We have a national small business council comprised of about 14 small business owners representing different parts of the country, different demographics. Some of them have, 100 employees. Some of, most of them have more like 5 to 10 employees. It really varies. We also have other councils, state ones, like in Virginia, we have one in Georgia, and then we are launching one later this year for Illinois. A little bit more about the resources we provide. So this is something I, would recommend folks feel free to share with their networks of small business owners, is this platform called Venturize Org, which we launched in early 2018. We basically, we incorporated this platform into our existing resources offered through our entrepreneurship program. Venturize is an existing educational lending platform developed by Opportunity Finance Network, or OFN, that gives small businesses increased access to responsible capital. Venturize currently offers unbiased education and resources to small business owners that are seeking loans, and provides technical assistance to a lot of entrepreneurs about how to be loan ready. And the program's basically intended to help all businesses, but especially those in underserved communities, connect with a network of business assistance providers. We also, for what it's worth, we are huge advocates for responsible lending. And we work on this federally, but also in the states. And what we mean by that is we think currently consumer, individual loan products are, customers are basically protected under the Truth in Lending Act, so that, they're getting, if you went to get a credit card or something like that, exactly what the APR is, what the prepaid terms are, that all those sorts of things. Small businesses don't currently have that protection nationally. And so we're working on that federally, and then also in the states. Venturize, you can go there and find lenders who are responsible. They're folks who basically have signed on to something that we have helped create called the Borrower's Bill of Rights. And it's lenders who say, yes, I will tell you what the APR is so that you can make apples to apples comparisons. Yes, I'll tell you about any fees. You'll know the loan term. We have worked so hard on this because we know a lot of small businesses, especially because of the pandemic, are subject to more predatory lending practices than we've really ever seen before. We've heard about small business owners who are unknowingly signing onto loan terms with APRs in the triple digits, as high as 350%. So this is one of the reasons why, we talk about Venturize a lot, is because, small businesses need to be able to go somewhere and know that they can search for capital safely. I mentioned this to Bill previously, but we launched at the end of last year the Alliance for a Resilient Small Business Economy. This is a really unique sort of coalition because it has a ton of cross-sector organizations and industries that have sort of come together working on key issues, particularly access to capital. But they're they range from lenders, they range from community finance institutions to local chamber of commerce. And we all sort of come together and talk about issues facing entrepreneurs and small business owners. And so we've kind of created this cross-sector entity to give folks the opportunity to advance policy and work on policy. I think for us, because we have such a robust business network of folks, they repeatedly tell us that they don't have the policy shops because it's, 4 or 5 people, or the capacity to be able to lend themselves to reading a piece of legislation and disseminating it. Or, if something's happening federally, understanding the sort of details of why, we should make X recommendation over Y recommendation. And so we created this in hopes of us being able to do more of that, to expand the capacity of some of these smaller entities, in hopes that we can help with their capacity and keep them up to date on policies that are going to impact their networks. A little bit more about the Alliance. Ultimately, I think the focus here is to break down systemic barriers and just focusing on an equitable economy. And so we have almost 30 members, over 30 members now who have joined. And again, ranges from, the Atlanta Wealth Building Initiative in Georgia, to the LA Chamber of Commerce, to the Northern Virginia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of demographics covered in the Alliance. If you're interested in joining and you're not sure, for one, you can connect with myself and my colleague Zia, who oversee the Alliance, but you can also take a look at the current list of partners on that second bullet and then apply on that first bullet. But we're, of course, always happy to have a quick conversation about why it's meaningful to join the Alliance and why it might be beneficial to organizations who are potentially interested to join, and kind of review some of the important work that we've done thus far. A couple of other things, I had mentioned the need for to stop predatory lending. If you're interested in learning more about that, or sort of lend your name as a support, you can either sign the letter that we have here, or you could become, help us identify organizations that are interested in lending their names, or small business owners as well. There is federal legislation on this that we're trying to pass, and unfortunately has become somewhat partisan. And so we're always looking for folks small business owners who have either been taken advantage of or almost were, and who can share their stories to say that this is something that needs to be passed. Just a handful of other things. I welcome folks to go to our website, stay involved by signing onto our newsletter. You'll get a full list of upcoming events, policy updates. We have a policy update coming up on Friday with my colleague, who will just be disseminating everything that's happening nationally. And there's just a ton of content in there. And then also, we like to just stay in touch with our partner organizations and offer, opportunities to highlight the business partner, your organization, maybe a small business owner that you care about, and then, potentially collaborate for media opportunities as well. And that's my information. So please feel free to jot that down. And of course, I'm also happy to answer any questions. So I will go ahead and stop there.
All right, thank you, Awesta. Anybody have questions for Awesta about the work that they do with small businesses? I have, if you can hold up your hand or just wave at me. I have added the links for the letter and the spokesperson to the chat, and also the link directly to Small Business Majority's website. Nobody has any questions, we'll keep moving on. Awesta, thank you so much for coming to join us today. It's great information. You all are doing such wonderful work. Very impressed with everything that we've learned about the ad. And I do encourage everybody to take some time and go look at Venturize, and then go look at Small Business Majority. There is a wealth of resources there that we can all share with our entrepreneurs that we're working with. So thank you so much, Awesta.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Tara. And please feel free to email me and connect with me at any time. I'd love to chat with folks. Thanks again.
Awesome, thank you. We'll move into our next update from the system. Rachel Snavely, I believe you're on. You want to take yourself off mute and give an update on the Eastern Panhandle Forum that's coming up?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Snavely. I'm the Executive Director of the Region 9 Planning and Development Council. We are hosting our first inaugural Small Business Resource Forum. That's going to be held on March 24th here in Martinsburg at the Holiday Inn. Anyone interested, I can certainly share the flyer and the agenda. We actually have 3 of our 4 speakers, I believe, logged into this meeting right now. That includes Bill Woodrum, Betsy Heath, and Miss Deborah Martin. So thank the 3 of you for making the trip. I know, Betsy, you're not far from me, but I appreciate you coming. We're really excited to hear more about what everything that James Rums is doing. So this sort of came about. We had some money from EDA Cares, and we hired a consultant to do a small business survey. And we got about almost 200 responses back from our local small businesses here in the Panhandle. And a big information we got from that survey is that a lot of people didn't realize that there was any repository of resources for them to access. They didn't know where they could get technical assistance. And a lot of them said that they would love to be able to attend a forum where they can network, meet other small businesses, and then get this information from, the Development Center, from West Virginia Business Link, which obviously does have a repository of resources. So hoping to get the word out about that. As a regional council, we also put together a economic resource playbook, which is kind of a high level document of not all of the resources available, obviously, but a lot of the technical assistance, the tax credits, the grants, the loans that are available. And we're going to distribute that to our development authorities. So when they're contacted by small businesses, they can just pull out pages and hand it to them and kind of walk them through the steps and direct them to the appropriate contacts. In addition, we're working on a gap analysis to see where we may be lacking when it comes to the services that we offer in comparison to our neighboring states of Virginia and Maryland, and even into Pennsylvania. And that's going to be a document that our development authorities and our elected officials can actually take to the state legislature and to the state agencies and say, hey, look, this is how we can be a little more competitive, how we can beef up some of our programming. This is where we're lacking, and the West Virginia Code needs to be revised, for example, and what agencies may need some more funding. So, went a little off course there. Sorry, Bill. This was a big collaborative thing that we're doing. It's all in one package, but the capstone of this is going to be this forum. That's, again, on March 24th. It starts at 5 o'clock. please, if you're available, I know it might be a hike for some of you, but we would love to see you there. If you have any clients that you're working with, any small business clients or nonprofits even, it is open to the public. Registration is free. If you would like to be an exhibitor, if you offer services to small business, a table is free as well. If you're interested in setting up a booth, I will put my email address in the chat. So please just shoot me an email and I'll make sure that we reserve you a table. This event, 5 to 6, will be networking. From 6 to 6:30, the exhibitors will have the opportunity to give their 2 to 3 minute elevator speech as to what they do. And then from about 6:30 to 8, we'll have Bill and Deborah, Betsy, and also our consultant, Troy Truax with Michael Baker, present a little bit about what they do with some Q&A afterwards. So we're hoping this is a success and something that our development authorities and the regional council can sponsor on an annual basis at a minimum. But we haven't had anything like this, at least here in the Panhandle. So we'll see how it goes. And the want of information is out there. And I'm really excited to be able to do a little bit of marketing for the SBDC and for Business Link to get the word out and say, yes, there is these resources are out here, and put them directly in touch with the people in charge of them. So if anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And like I said, I'll put my email in the chat if anyone would like to attend. And I think, Bill, you probably have the flyers. If anyone wants to send them out to anybody, I can certainly send you copies of those as well.
Yeah, we have the flyer. I can attach it when I send out the notes this week if you want me to do that, Rachel.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, I'd really like to get the word out. A lot of people, it's a kind of an inaugural thing. Some people, is this going to be worthwhile? It's the one, it's the first time. So we're really trying to get the word out and encourage people that yes, this isn't going to be the same people that you see all the time. It's not necessarily just going to be the chamber who you talk to all the time. We're just the development authorities that you already know. We are pulling in people from around the state, people that offer professional services. We have our business coaches coming. So it's not going to be the regular cast of characters they may already have interacted with. So yeah, so Bill, if you could send out the flyer, and again, if anyone's interested in attending, just shoot me an email and I will get you on that list.
All right, thank you, Rachel. And I'll attach that when the notes go out later this week to let everybody know.
Excellent, thank you.
And yeah, looking forward to it. That'll be my first time in Eastern Panhandle since pre-pandemic. So
well, great, we're happy to have you.
Leslie Drake, I think you're still on. You want to update us on the export mission that's coming up?
Sure. I'm one of those few people who never use Zoom, so sorry it's taking me a second to navigate over to something I wanted to share. So the U.S. Commercial Service, as you may know, we organize, well, in addition to just counseling companies on their business activities, we also, sorry, I'm trying to find my screen. We also organize trade events for companies so that they have an easier time navigating and entering international markets. So they're not going on their own. We're able to actually help them navigate the process there. Am I sharing? Is this working? Here we go, share.
There you go, Leslie.
Okay, hopefully that's the website that you're looking at.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the U.S. Commercial Service has put together this U.S. minority business focused trade mission. It's the first time our agency, at least in the time I've been here that I can recall, has dedicated a trade mission to the needs of minority business owners. And this trade mission is pretty unique because it's pretty fast paced. It's covering 3 markets in the course of about a week. Trade mission participants will have the opportunity to have really targeted business matchmaking appointments in Milan, Madrid, and Lisbon. And during the course of this, there'll also be a really large degree of networking opportunities with the business community in those countries. This is an executive-led trade mission, so we're not sure which of our senior leaders will lead it, but it could potentially be our Secretary of Commerce. That's not confirmed, but I believe there's been some interest. This is also very targeted to companies in 4 sectors. It's a pretty broad definition of sectors, but ICT, energy, environmental technology, and safety and security technology are the industry sectors that are being targeted for this business matchmaking trade mission. We do expect that this will be held in person. So we are currently running an in-person trade mission in Dubai as part of our Trade Winds program that's going on this week. And there are some additional in-person trade missions coming up as we transition from offering only virtual services. But we did want to just take a few minutes to highlight the fact that we do have the U.S. minority business focused trade mission that is striving to reach some underserved communities, historically underserved communities in our state. So if you have any questions about it, the deadline's coming up really quickly, March 25th. The other urgency around this is that it's capped at 20 participants. We currently don't have any from West Virginia. I've checked the registration list. There have been about 45 applicants from around the country. And I haven't seen any from West Virginia yet. So it'd be great to get, at least a couple from West Virginia. The cost, which would include all the business matchmaking expenses, is around $5,500. That includes the business matchmaking fees for all 3 countries. So companies would participate in all 3 of those mission stops. And it also includes a whole lot of networking, lunches, receptions, and things like that. Now, I would have to defer to my West Virginia Department of Economic Development colleagues, Inibe Diaz and Caitlin Lizarga, who I don't believe are on this call, because they are the ones who work with SBA for the STEP grant. It's possible they will have some funding available to help offset some of these costs, but we would just need to check with them one-on-one. And the final thing I'll say, that if a company applies, which is super simple, they will get feedback from these 3 countries from our U.S. commercial service colleagues at the embassies in those markets, in our offices there. They will get market potential feedback from them in a couple of weeks. So even if they're not 100% sure they want to participate, it's a great way to get some feedback that they can use later, should they decide to just pursue one of those markets, for example. There's no obligation to register. So I'll end with that and happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Leslie? Hold your hand
Yeah,
up.
I
Okay.
have a question. What is considered a minority-owned business? Are women also included in this or not?
Yes, so women, so even though women aren't specifically listed in the Federal Register announcement, I did see that. I did ask that same question, and women-owned businesses are part of the underserved community that the administration is wanting to be sure is included. So a woman-owned company would be considered for this mission.
And just while you mentioned Anybay there, she was actually our blog writer last week. If any of you all haven't seen the blog that went up from West Virginia Business Link last week, Anybay did a great job with talking about exporting opportunities for small business, and there's a lot of resources on there. This trip was mentioned on there. I'm glad Leslie was able to come on today and give us some more information.
Okay, and can you confirm that I quit sharing? I think I did.
You have quit sharing.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, thank you, Leslie. We appreciate you. Next up is Angela Schock from the WVU Office of Technology Transfer.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm just here to mention the Bridging Innovation Week. It is coming up less than a month. It'll be April 4th through the 8th. Now, our division, the Trans Tech program, will be having our day on the 8th. And we are looking for startup companies to apply to make a pitch. It's going to be like a 15-minute pitch. You'll have 12 minutes and then 3 minutes of Q&A. Well, no. Anyway, you have a 15-minute window where you'll have your pitch, you'll have Q&A, and then you'll have transition time. But so we're looking for those small companies, startups, or even commercializable projects. And those are, you have an idea, you're on the cusp of, pulling the plug. It's a good idea, and you've had it vetted to a certain extent, but you're looking for that to take that next step. But anyway, we're looking for those commercializable projects and startup companies in the fields of energy, healthcare technology, and cybersecurity security programs. The information is in the chat feature. I put the website where you can go and look for specific types of the energy definitions, and also for cybersecurity and healthcare technology or biotechnology. And you also have my email if you have any questions. So I think most of you know, well, half of you know what TransTech is, the other half don't, but we are a program, like Bill said, out of the Technology Transfer Office at WVU. We help promote startups and commercializable projects to strategic partners, to investors, to basically the general public. We're having 2 TransTech events this year. Again, April 8th, which is part of Bridging Innovation Week, and also in November here in Morgantown. And if a company applies to pitch in April, they also have the ability to attend the November event and pitch there as well. There's no cost to apply to pitch. There's only a very minimal cost if you are selected to pitch for each conference. I'm not sure exactly what the purse will be for the April event, but we're shooting for $10,000 for the first place for the November event. So if you have any questions, my email is in the chat. Thank you.
I was wanting Angela to do the Dr. Evil $1 billion, but she didn't. Thank you, though. That's, I mean, really the grandparent of all pitch competitions in West Virginia is TransTech. You guys have been doing that for a long time, and I've always been impressed with the level of companies that come to that and have been accelerated out of that. Tara, you're going to update us on the technical assistance program?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Bill. So Lauren Prenzo and I are working on our ARC Power Technical Assistance Grant, which is equity and entrepreneurship, with the focus in strategic planning, expansion for youth entrepreneurship in West Virginia. So my call to action to each of you, if you are working in K through 12 with any entrepreneurs, or you provide resources to entrepreneurs, we need you to help us map and plan for expansion of these opportunities. We're doing a particular focus in rural and low income youth. Again, that is for the state of West Virginia. We have 2 opportunities for you guys to attend sessions. So if you are in the southern part of the state, or you're going to be in the southern part of the state, we will have one at Marshall University on May 12th. So this is an either or. So the first session will be May 12th in Huntington at Marshall's Student Center. And then thank you, Dr. Carrie White, for hosting us on May 13th at the Morris L. Hayhurst Launch Lab. So again, we have two options. We have May 12th and May 13th, one in the southern part of the state and one in the northern part of the state. Bill will be adding this to the newsletter that goes out. So if you guys are interested in attending, it is free lunch. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Tara. And while we've got you up, do you want to give, or does anybody have questions, I guess, first about the TA? And Lauren presented a little bit on that last month for everybody. So just reminding you that those are coming up. And they are on the West Virginia Business Link calendar of events with links to registration from there. And then Bridging Innovation. Tara, do you want to give us a quick update?
Yes, we are at capacity, people. We are very excited. We have a full week of events going on the first week of April. So thank you to everyone that has reached out, offered to help, offered to add your events to the calendar. We had a couple ads since the last time we've had an ecosystem meeting. So as you guys can see on the screen, we're starting with the University of Charleston. Obviously, we have the Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Conference on Tuesday. If you have not registered, please register. We are trying to get numbers firmed up. Wednesday, we have Marshall's Business Model Competition. We've got the high school, the collegiate, and the community business plan competitions. Vantage Ventures has added in a demo, and then we'll have an awards banquet that night. Thursday, we'll have Youth Entrepreneurship and Action Day. We have 200 middle school and high school students coming to the convention center that day. That night, we will have the Veteran Entrepreneurial Reception. And then finally, as Angela just talked about, we will have Trans Tech and their conference on Friday of that week. So we have tons of events going on. Please go to the website and register for each of the events. We are very excited, and I'm happy to answer any questions on Bridging Innovation.
I guess one that wasn't so obvious to me if I wasn't on the planning end of this, the community business plan competition, that's open to any entrepreneur in the state, right? They can apply and pitch. So if you've got clients out there who you're working with, you should be getting them into that pitch or trying to get them into that pitch competition.
Yes, thank you, Bill, for bringing that up. So the community business plan competition was formerly called Seed West Virginia. Ryan Angus runs that competition, and entries are still open until March 15th. So if you have any entrepreneurs in the state of West Virginia, they are more than welcome to go to the website and enter.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really powerful week. I think I announced last time on this call that Nathan Oley, the new CEO at IEDC, had agreed to keynote our entrepreneurship conference on Tuesday. And we were able to get a cap note from Sarah Biller. And I don't know if Sarah's on the call today, but Sarah was able to get us a cap note of one of her clients, Dan Wright, with Data Robot, which is a pretty amazing story and a great West Virginia entrepreneurship story, I think. So we're really pleased to be able to begin and end with really high level people and really eye catchers that I hope will get not just you all, but I hope you can push this out to your entrepreneurs. There's going to be a great opportunity that day. People from the finance world are going to be there, obviously business coaches from around the state like the SBDC and others. But we think it's going to be a great day. We were going to call it the ecosystem meeting, but we took that off because we're very excited that, you know, there's something in here for entrepreneurs too. I don't want you to just think of this as a service provider conference. It's a great opportunity for your up and coming businesses or your established businesses or your expanding businesses to come and hand out business cards and get with people who can get them the right resources at the right time. So you know I'm going to keep sharing the registration link, so I won't drop it in chat because you see it all the time. Just please use it and get yourself registered. We've got about 40 or 50 registered so far, so moving that number forward with about a month to go. We have an update from the Women's Business Center on a couple upcoming opportunities with them. Nora or Dawn?
Hello, I can tell you about the event that's upcoming. We are going to be co-hosting something, a program that's sponsored by this business owner, March 29th and 30th it is a and I do not have an agenda yet. I can put a for the registration page, but it is going to be 2 days of workshops. So the audience would be any women business owners or anybody that's interested in the entrepreneurial landscape. And they've promised with the agenda on the registration page. So March 29th and 30th.
All right, thank you, Dawn. And Nora, sporting her International Women's Day purple SC. Very good.
Thanks, Bill. I just wanted to let this group know in particular that the Women's Business Center is looking to hire a summer intern. So any college or university in the state, we're looking for a marketing and outreach intern that will focus on particularly minority markets in the state of West Virginia. And I'm actually going to pop the link to the position description, but obviously anybody here is welcome to reach out to me personally if you have someone that you'd like to refer. 2 things, it's paid. We're paying $19 an hour, and it is full-time for 10 weeks over the summer. We would prefer an upperclassman, so junior or senior upper class woman, or a graduate student. I think it'll be a great opportunity. We will, they can either work remotely or they can do a hybrid arrangement. We've got offices in Morgantown, we've got offices in Charleston, and we'll probably have a satellite office in Huntington opened up at that point. So, you know, hitting all the big regions, but we can work something out. If they're summering in, I don't know, Hardy County, we can work something else out. So, so let us know. And did I pop that job description in or did I not?
Yes, you did. It's
I
in
did.
there.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so let me know. We would love to create a great opportunity for a student this summer to learn some things, contribute some things to the state, and earn a little cash along the way. So thanks.
Awesome. It's a great opportunity for a college student. I was able to do some internships during my time in college, and it helped shape the rest of my life. So I hope if you've got young people in your life, even if you're not at a higher education institution, that you'll push it out to them and let them get some great experience in a great organization.
I don't know about you, Bill, but the ones I did didn't pay $19 an hour.
I know. Hey, inflation, baby. I know. I mean, honestly, they shouldn't be making minimum wage. Nobody should. And when we do have some expectations, that's why we're looking for an upperclassman or graduate student, that they're bringing some skills to the table. I do want to say yes. So and this is just an announcement for everybody that probably won't mean anything, but as you all know, the Women's Business Center is an initiative of Partner Community Capital, which is the CDFI. Partner Community Capital has been a division of the Conservation Fund. And we are peeling off from the Conservation Fund come April 1st. So this position was posted by the Conservation Fund on their website by their HR department, and they threw it out to Handshake. So it is out on Handshake right now, for those of you who are familiar with Handshake. After April 1st, I don't know, it might drop off and I might have to go out and put it out again. That's why I'm saying if anybody knows anybody, just because we're in that sort of transition phase, just let me know. If you go out and you can't find it, or you've referred someone and they can't find it, please just let me know. We might have to pop it back on there after April. So that just explains why anybody looking at it now is going to see Conservation Fund, and maybe looking at it later won't see that. So
I figured it was a WVU thing. I didn't understand Handshake, but
yeah, it's the, and I know that there are a couple of colleges in West Virginia that do not use Handshake. That's one of the reasons I'm throwing this out to you. But Handshake is where students go to look for jobs, and where employers can list jobs. And I can't remember the schools that don't have it. I want to say maybe Fairmont State doesn't use Handshake, and a couple of others don't. So if you know of interested students at some of those other schools, please spread the word. So thank you.
Awesome. The last note that we have, we're pushing up at 2:45. The last note that I have down for us today is just an early notice and I'll send this out so many times you'll be tired of seeing it, and some of you will still forget and try and log in on that day. May 10th is election day. So we are not doing a call on election day because that will wipe out a bunch of our people. But we will be doing the monthly call in May on May 9th. So that's the Monday before. So instead of the second Tuesday, it will be the day before on Monday, May 9th. And just a note, it's not a change, but just a note that we will have an ecosystem meeting on the 12th, just like always, Zoom. Love to come on and have a quick post-mortem with everybody after Bridging Innovation. Talk about what went right, what went wrong, who wants to do 2 more events for next year so that whoever's in charge of it then, besides Bill and Tara, can take charge of it. But no, we hope to keep building out and adding events as we go. And although it's a little bit of insanity right now, we are super happy and super proud of the ecosystem stepping up. And like Tara said, over the last month or so, we've added 2 or 3 events from people. So just an amazing embrace from you all. Compare it, I think, to where we were when we started the ecosystem a couple years ago.
Hey, Bill, don't forget April 26th, World IP Day.
I figured you or Marion one would jump up and yell something at me.
Hey, Bill, can I make a quick save the date? It's Ann Jones.
Sure, Ann.
Okay. First of all, yes, happy International Women's Day. And on that, I want to share save the date, which may be overlapping a little bit with what Dawn announced, but it may be different groups. We're going to have some speakers. It's going to be a Zoom on March 29th from 3:30 to 5 on the care economy, focusing on childcare deserts. So I'm just putting in some of the details. I will be sending out more information on it, but we have a couple of really neat speakers. Katie Allen from the West Virginia Center on Budget and Policy, and Jim Johnson and Jeannie Bonds-Milken from UNC, and Victor Galloway from the FDIC. So save the date, March 29th. That'll be a Zoom, 3:30 to 5. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Ann.
Hey, Bill, this is Michelle O'Connor.
Hey, Michelle O'Connor.
Hey, three steps to startup is doing a Rethinking the Capital Stack webinar on March the 23rd at 10 a.m. And I'm trying to find the link, put it out there, but I'll make sure that Brian puts it into the calendar. But we've sourced it with the idea of, have you been turned down by a traditional bank for a business loan? We're here to answer some of your questions.
That's awesome. And as we all know, a huge need for West Virginia and for everywhere. Right? You know, I always say those things, but it's not just West Virginia. That access to capital is the thing that I hear whenever I'm in meetings with professionals from around the country.
So at the risk, Bill, of stepping into your territory, let me recommend that all of these events get listed on the Business Link site so that we can promote them through Business Link.
You are always welcome to step into my shoes, Deborah Martin, any day. Okay, anybody else have any last minute updates, news, anything exciting? If not, this was a busy conference. This was a busy conference call day. There's a lot of things going on. We're headed into a great spring. And if you go at the calendar, and I knew I wouldn't have to remind you all to put things in the calendar because, you know, it makes my life easier when you put things in the calendar, but I promote your events for you when you put things in the calendar. So it's a trade-off that way. We have a really full March, really full April coming up. Like, I was just trying to scan and find an event before we got on, and it took a minute because it's a busy time for all of us. I do always, on the backside of that, want to encourage you to maybe go look at West Virginia Business Link while you're setting event dates. And if you are right on top of somebody else who's doing something very similar to you, see if you got some wiggle room in you, or call them up and say, hey, Carrie White, are you firm on your date? And Carrie White will be like, no, I'm here. You've got to go somewhere else. But no, that's if you all go back to the original thing we started out with back when it was Tyler putting these in by hand, it was so we could avoid walking all over top of each other. So the technology's got a little better, but just a reminder that Zoom isn't just there to promote your event, which obviously it is, but it's also there to help make sure we're giving entrepreneurs the opportunity to attend to all of our stuff, because there's such good things going on throughout the state that we want to give them as many opportunities as possible. With that, I think we are finished for the day. If nobody else jumps